First things first, Hariss, welcome back to Singapore. We're so excited to have you back. How excited are you to be back in the Singapore Premier League?
Yeah, I'm very happy to be back home. Looking forward to getting started. The season is midway through now, but I'm looking forward to the important games that are coming up. Yeah.
Speaking of important games, you played many of those in your 7 years at JDT and trophy-laden 7 years. So much success you had personally and for the team as well. What are some of your biggest takeaways from your time spent there?
I think JDT provided the ideal platform, the best facilities, everything from A to Z for football players. So I think I went there. I was still young, I had to step up because expectations were higher as a foreign player. You had to show that you are a couple levels or something different from the local players, something that you can what you can bring to the team. So that was a challenge for me. So I think I grew through that challenge, and I'm just happy to see where JDT is and to be able to play a part in the rise of the club.
Yeah, Hariss, you spent a lot of time in Malaysia with JDT, and obviously before that you were playing in Singapore and you developed your game here. But what could you just name us maybe 2 or 3 things that you picked up from your time in JDT that you think we could apply in Singapore football to help it grow?
I think I was lucky enough to play with quality teammates, quality foreign players, especially. I learned from them, the likes of Luciano Figueroa, Marcos Antonio, who played in big leagues for big teams. So the way they carry themselves, when I was there, and I was still a young player, so to rub shoulders with these names, you learn a lot, just by training with them and being with them off the pitch. So I'm very lucky to call them my teammates. And also, I think the facilities that we had there, is a dream for football player. You just have to turn up for training and do your job, and be focused on performing on the pitch. So I think that's the full focus. I think players didn't need to think about too many things there. Just go out there and start your stuff. Yeah. So these are the 2 main takeaways.
All right, so I just want to jump in here. In terms of TMJ, he was an integral part of how far JDT grew, right? Do you at all think Singapore perhaps lacks that figure to take us forward? Like TMJ is not scared to speak his mind, but he walks the talk, and that's testament to how far the club has grown. Do you think Singapore perhaps lacks such a figure?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of people, along the years who have come in and tried to, set the direction. But I think what's important is everybody buys into that directive. We have to move in the right direction together. We can't be going in different directions, and then at the end of the day, you just lose sight of your goal. So I think that's what happened to us over the past couple of years, where we lost our way a little bit. But now we have an opportunity with Unleash the Raw 2034. So we have to try to grab it with both hands. Try to work together. Everybody try to ask the question, how can I help? So I think that's quite important. Try to believe in that goal. We might not make it in the end, but still, I think this is a goal for us to try to make things better, develop in every aspect, in terms of the facilities, youth development, our league. So we have to give ourselves the opportunity. I think we have to respect ourselves in the first place before others respect us. So we have a chance, so we have to grab it. Yeah.
Hariss, you mentioned something there, and I just want to pick up on that. Respecting ourselves before we respect others. And what I feel is that over the years or so, people have shown the league, the local league, whether it was S League before or SPL now, a little bit of a lack of respect. There's always a clamor for, Malaysia Super League, that's where it should be, that should be this, that should be that. I personally sometimes feel that biasness comes from obviously the Malaysia Cup days and the M League days that we used to play in. But you having yourself played in the MSL for as long as you have, having played in the S League, can you just tell us if that is there really a big difference in playing standards?
I think
league-wise.
Yeah, league-wise, I think it's there is still I wouldn't say it's a big gulf in class. It's probably just a one or two levels difference. But the main difference I would say is the motivation, the rivalry of the teams. The teams, when the players meet, I think they know they are in for competition. They know they're in for fight. So I think that's something that we have to work on here in the league, because at the moment, yes, we don't have relegation because we don't have enough stadiums, enough teams, and whatnot, but we have to try to work around the system. I always believe Singapore, we are unique, we are small. We have national service, we have unique situations and circumstances which other countries don't have. So we have to try to sit down and find a way that works for us. And like I said, I think the Malaysians, the Thais, the Indonesians, they clamor for their league. I think they support their league a lot, the locals. So I think we have to try to do that as well. Of course, I think the responsibility lies on everybody, all the stakeholders, the fans, the players, the people at the top. Everybody has to do their part, and we have to support each other. That's the only way we're going to improve. If we're going to push each other down, we're just going to lose our way. So yeah, we have to keep believing in each other. Yeah.
And speaking of supporting each other, obviously there's the recently concluded World Cup qualifying games, which you unfortunately set out. Some of the performances were really heartening for me as a fan to watch, and I think most of us will agree, but results unfortunately not the same. What was your take on it as a fan, but also as a national team captain, to sit down at home, watch people play well, but unfortunately not get the result?
Well, of course, as a fan, it's disappointing to see the results. But as a captain, as the team, as a teammate, my heart goes out to the boys. I wouldn't fault them for not trying. I think each and every one who was on the pitch were trying, but it's just that golf in class. We were miles away from Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan, and even Palestine in the first game. We were not ready in terms of physical condition. Technically, I think we're still some way to go behind the Saudis and the Uzbeks. So, but that's got to do with what's happened over the past couple of years, not just in this COVID period. I think we have to try to give the best platform. Like I spoke earlier when Roshan asked me about the situation in JDT. You have everything, so you don't have an excuse not to perform. So I always believe we are paid to perform, not paid to train or paid to play. We are paid to perform. So I think we have to give everything that there is, to every opportunity, every give an ideal environment and situation for players to develop, to perform, to improve, and then the players don't have an excuse. It all falls on them. Yeah.
And speaking of ideal, do you think Tatsuma, we've seen the philosophy he's tried to implement? Football is good. Football is good to watch. They are trying to play. Is he the right one, and should he be given time, or is the Suzuki Cup possibly make or break for him?
I wouldn't say Suzuki Cup is make or break. I think it's something that we have to strive to perform, and our first target will be to get out of the group stage. We've not done that in the past 3 editions, and for a team with our history in that competition, is a bit disappointing. So I think that has to be the target now, to get out of the group. Forget about winning, let's go step by step and see where it takes us. And as for Coach Tatsuma, I think he's done a good job. He came in as a relative unknown. Nobody gave him a chance. I was surprised, to be honest, from the first day, because I think he's a good coach, and he's changed the mentality, the thinking of the players, of how we approach games, and just instilled a little bit of a character or bravery in us, to take on the big boys. Even though we didn't get any points against Saudi and Uzbekistan, but I think we put in some good performances, and in terms of attacking part of the game, and got some good results. So we're looking forward to the next phase of the qualification, and hopefully we can do something there. Yeah.
Hariss, let me just jump in and I want to try and again go back to the question of the quality of leagues in the SPL and MSL, for example. I want to try to just draw this bridge between the quality of the leagues and performances of the national teams on the international stage. And often when Singapore does poorly, or we do poorly on the international front, the league bears the brunt of the blame, in the sense that there's not enough players, there's not enough quality coming through. But I often find as well, even with the Malaysia Super League, it somehow doesn't translate to good performances by the Malaysian national team on the international stage as well. What do you think of that?
I think it's a little bit unique there in Malaysia because I think JDT is dominating the domestic scene there. So you see most of the or one third of the national team or half the national team in Malaysia is almost JDT players, and some of the players don't have enough minutes in the first team of JDT. But based on quality of the player in the country, I think they're still one of the best in the country. So that's why they are in the national team. So I think it's a little bit lopsided in the Malaysian Super League because JDT is dominating. Not that is JDT's any of JDT's fault. I think the other clubs struggling to keep up with JDT because that's the standard that they have set over the years. So I think that's the reason why maybe the national team has been even the Malaysian national team has been struggling a little bit. Whereas for us, I think it's competitiveness, the rivalry, the motivation, the to get stuck in, to want to do something. Like even when I was playing with for JDT, I always keep an eye on the SPL, and it bugs me that foreign teams have been winning it for the past 7 years now. So like I think it has to be on all the local. Yeah, I mean it has to be on the the local players, the local teams, especially those who are competing at top. That we have to stop this trend, and I think that's missing a little bit. Of course, I think Tampines and LCS has been trying to push LGX the past couple of years, but they've been head and shoulders above the rest so far. So hopefully we can change that this year.
Just quickly picking up on what you mentioned about JDT sort of being in the league of their own in the MSL. Is there a risk then that LCS might do the same in the SPL just purely because of the privatization and the glamour? Yeah, resources.
Yes, there is, but I think in Singapore, if the league is going to be privatized, I think and we can get more people like Forest Lee in for the other teams. I think you can level the playing field, but then it comes back to the question of youth development. You need to have enough local players. You have to have a good pool of local players who can step up into each and every club, and in the after that is the clubs trying to buy for these players, who can pay these players better, but it's still some way off, as in you have some years of that. You have to get your youth development right, and then get players stepping up into the national team, playing in a higher level, maybe some of these players going out to play in better leagues and then coming back. So I think that's something that we have to work on. We have to have a vision of this, before we can get there. We're still some way off, but I think it's good to plan and have a vision of this.
Hariss, I want to jump in here and I want to ask you, when you were thinking about leaving JDT, was it just Singapore on your mind? Was that the only option for you, or were you thinking elsewhere that there might be opportunities elsewhere as well?
Yes, I was considering elsewhere as well, but what made my decision was the COVID situation, as well as family matters. I was thinking, like, we don't know when COVID is going to end, and also for health reasons, some of my family members were not in the best shape. So I thought, this is the time to come back home. And I'm just glad that TMJ respected my decision and gave me his blessings. Yeah.
I'm going to be cheeky here and ask you, where were some of those other offers coming from, Hariss?
Italian Serie A and Spanish La Liga.
Hey, you gotta be careful there, because you've given me an opening now to ask you about your opportunities to go to Europe, with Portugal and all that.
I almost went to Coventry.
But listen, if I just go back very quickly again to the opportunity to go over to Europe, is that a regret from your career? Is there anything in your career that you sort of regret?
I wouldn't say it's after what I've won so far. I mean, even though it's only next door in Malaysia, but I would say it's a regret. But there's still this question of what if, if I went there, would my career have taken a different trajectory, or or would I not have won as many titles and be able to play in the Asian Champions League and so on. So it's not a regret, but still, you're wondering in a different universe, what if I had gone to Europe? So yeah, I'm still wondering though.
let's just bring it back to the Singapore Premier League in the here and now, right? You've got the second half of the season coming. For a team like LCS, anything but the league will be a disappointment or will be a failure?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have to live with that pressure, especially with the investment that the owner has put in the last 1.5 years. I think there's a lot of expectation that is something that we have to get accustomed to. The local players especially, because when you play for big teams, there's going to be big pressure and big expectations. So that's something that we have to live with. And like my time in JDT, the first title it's the most difficult one. You have to scrap, you have to fight, you have to not only look at performance, but you have to somehow get your nose over the line. So that's the same case with us. I think right now we are very close with Albirex, just one point behind, and then over there we have to look out over our shoulders with Tampines and Hougang looking good as well. So I think it's going to be a challenging second half of the season, but we have to be on the toes.
Yeah, look, listen, lots of national pride at stake as well. Raushan already mentioned the fact that there's a lot of pressure on the shoulders of the Lion City Sailors. Look, I'm a fan of the project. I think that's, to me, in my opinion, I feel like that's the way forward. Money coming in, infrastructure coming in, and that level of professionalism just goes up a notch. And I think it's incredible when I think about the coaches and the names that are linked to it. Lion City Sailors, for example, the ability to sign players on big transfer fees. Diego Lopez, for example, coming in, and then going from Vidma to an Asian champion in Kim Do-hoon. What's it been like working with him, Hariss? Have you had lots of chats with him? Has he spoken to you about your role at the club and what your expectations are?
Yeah, I think he's always speaking with the players, not only myself. I think he's getting to know everyone now. He's only coming to now 2-3 weeks that he's been taking charge of us. So I think he's been quite positive. He's come in, especially the first week. We have had slightly longer sessions because I think he's trying to implement his ideas, his philosophy onto us, onto the team, of how he wants us to play. So I think the boys are taking to him. Play a couple of friendly games. It's not all good. It's not all perfect. Just like how it should be, because it's still new and we are getting used to each other. But I think he's been wonderful in his approach, and he's challenging us in the sense like I think he's telling the boys like, how many pull-ups can you do? So he said like, if you can't do more than 10 pull-ups, you're doing pull-ups every day before and after training. So I think that's a good challenge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, even IPPT you get a goal for 8, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
He's giving us a target of like 10 to 15. But
so who does the most pull-ups in the team?
I can't remember who did the most. I think
just say yourself.
Just say you lah. We will believe.
No, it was not me. But I can't remember. I think it was Tipe or somebody. I can't remember. But then going back to the coach, I think this is something good from my point of view. I think he's trying to challenge the players. So I think it's good sign. We have to try to stick together, try to take to him, and try to get over the line at the end of the season. Yeah.
What kind of style of play can we expect from Kim Do-hoon's Lion City Sailors?
I think it's a very Korean style. I think like how Ulsan Hyundai was playing last year. I think he emphasizes a lot on cohesion, but he doesn't shackle us when we want to attack. So I think that's very important for a team like us, especially with the attacking players that we have. So we can go up the field and do the damage and make sure that we keep it tight and nice behind. So I would say that we want to play a more all-round game, but it's going to be tough. I think the likes of Albirex and Tampines will try to exploit, but we have to show that we are a better team on the day.
And Hariss, just because we have you, I have one last question for you. You're 30 now. 20 years from now, will you be FAS president or national team coach?
FAS president or national team coach? I would, if you're asking me 20 years from the perspective of, or from where we are right now, I would say FAS president. I would like to make decisions that try to help Singapore football and deliver for the future, so that when long after we are gone, there's a plan, there's Singapore football can still go on and be successful. So yeah, to be in a capacity where we can make change, and national team, and I can choose the national team coach.
I'll speak to you again. We'll speak to you again in 2041 and see if it all aligns. Hariss, it's been excellent having you. Thank you so much for your time. All the best for the season ahead.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Hariss. Good luck, man.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye.